state lawmakers to reject changes to Indiana's congressional maps. Good evening, everyone. I'm Phil Sanchez.
Thanks for joining us at 10 here. I'm Derek Dennis. Governor Mike Braun today ordered lawmakers to reassemble next week to redraw the state's congressional maps ahead of next year's midterms. The decision quickly gained national attention and drew protesters to tonight's Republican Party fall dinner. That's where we find News 8's government reporter Eric Bergquist. Eric?
The protesters yelled at state representatives and other party officials as they arrived for this evening's dinner. They say gerrymandering in other states does not excuse it here.
No redistricting! No redistricting!
It didn't take long for protesters to gather in front of Monday's Indiana Republican Party fall dinner.
You can't change the rules in the middle of the game. And gerrymandering and redistricting is changing the rules. It's cheating.
Well, I've decided that I can no longer just complain without taking action. So my goal is to show up at these protests to make it known that I am against the current administration's policies.
A couple dozen protesters met Republican figures as they arrived. The dinner was closed to both the public and the media. That's unusual. Lawmakers afterward turned down my request for an interview. Hey, Senator, got time for a quick interview? Hey, Senator, got time for a quick interview? All right. Protesters say they don't believe congressional maps elsewhere should influence what Indiana lawmakers did.
You know, if you committed a sin, and you saw it was a sin, but you said, well, my neighbor sinned, or that neighbor sinned, then you should go ahead and do it too. You know, that's just dumb. Somewhere along the line, you have to have ethics.
Now, the announcement comes after almost 3 months of pressure from the Trump administration, and Senate Republicans say they still don't have the votes. The order came down early Monday. Governor Mike Braun says, I'm calling a special legislative session to protect Hoosiers from efforts in other states that seek to diminish their voice in Washington and ensure their representation in Congress is fair. The session will begin next Monday, November 3rd.
We know that our voices in D.C. are not being heard, Republican voices. And so our part as Hoosiers is to make sure that they're heard. And so if this is a way to amplify them because other states are suppressing those voices, then that's something we have to do.
Democrats denounced the special session immediately. They say it's out of step with what constituents tell them they want.
They're worried about health care costs. We've got issues that are coming down the pipe there. Utility bills are too high. I mean, there's all kinds of things that when I talk about hearing from constituents, those are the things that I hear about. And that's what I think is most important to Hoosiers, not redrawing and rigging these maps.
Democrats hold 2 of Indiana's 9 congressional seats. Andre Carson's 7th district covers the northern 2/3 of Marion County. Frank Bervan's 1st district covers Lake, Porter, and part of LaPorte County in northwest Indiana. The Senate will be the key. Speaker Todd Houston's office says House Republicans have the votes to approve new maps. But Senate President Pro Tempore Rod Bray's office says his caucus still does not have the votes.
I think it just says, Hoosiers, we still have time to stand and speak up and speak out loudly about our opposition to doing something that Hoosiers again and again and again since August have spoken clearly about. We don't want our maps redrawn, rigged.
At least 25 Senate Republicans would have to agree with the map. Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith is the tiebreaker, and he has long favored redistricting. Brown tells me she expects the holdouts will come around.
I think every time we've had these meetings together, we've learned more information and about the need for this on a national level. So I'm not concerned about that. I feel many of my colleagues may have had reticence at the beginning on this whole process, but now they're more informed, and as they become more informed, I'm confident they'll vote for it when it's actually on the floor.